What if I told you that the real price tag of raising a child is far higher than the $310,000 you hear on every news report? Imagine paying that amount and still ending up broke, stuck in a job you hate, and with zero freedom to chase your dreams. In the next 12 minutes, I'll show you the hidden costs that nobody talks about, why they trap you financially, and exactly what you can do to keep your future intact. Grab a notebook. You'll want to write this down. Let's dive in. The $310,000 figure is the average cost of basic necessities from birth to age 18. It sounds scary, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. Below the surface lies a fixed cost trap that rewires your entire budget. We'll cover 4 key areas. First, the myth versus reality of the 310,000 number. Second, how parenting turns flexible spending into non-negotiable overhead. Third, the hidden opportunity costs, wage penalties, and loss compounding. And fourth, building a parenting runway so your retirement never stalls. Stick with me, and by the end you'll have a practical, step-by-step plan to protect your financial independence while still being the best parent you can be. First, let's clear up the 310,000 myth. The headline breaks down roughly like this. Food, clothing, healthcare, and education add up to about $210,000. Housing and transportation, the extra bedroom, the longer commute to a family-friendly school, are another $100,000. Think of it like buying a car. The sticker price is the purchase price, but the real cost includes insurance, fuel, maintenance, and depreciation. The hidden layers are where the numbers really start to climb. Childcare premiums, whether it's daycare, after-school programs, or a nanny, can easily add up to $20,000 a year over the early years. Safety and convenience upgrades, a larger vehicle, a bigger home, baby-proofing everything, are another hidden expense. Then there's lifestyle inflation, bigger grocery bills, more family vacations, extracurricular activities. Altogether, you're looking at $400,000 to $500,000 over 18 years before even counting the opportunity cost. Now that we know the baseline, let's see why those numbers become a fixed cost trap that reshapes your whole financial system. Imagine your budget as a flexible yoga mat. When a child arrives, that mat suddenly gets a heavy weight in the middle, forcing you to stretch in ways you never planned. Flexible, discretionary spending like dining out, spontaneous travel, or even a side hustle gets squeezed out because the new overhead is non-negotiable. Childcare alone becomes a monthly bill you can't skip. Housing often needs a bigger space, which means a higher mortgage or rent, and that extra cost sticks around even after the kids move out. Transportation upgrades, a larger, safer vehicle, are another sunk cost that you can't reverse. Because these expenses are fixed, they limit your career mobility. You might turn down a promotion that requires relocation, or you may avoid switching to a higher risk, higher reward field because the safety net has thinned. That's the hidden opportunity cost that most people never calculate. Studies show that parents, on average, earn 3 to 5% less over their lifetime compared to childless peers. That wage penalty, compounded over 25 years, can erase the extra savings you thought you were building. And if you're not investing those dollars early, you miss out on the power of compounding. The magic that turns a small regular contribution into a massive nest egg over time. Here's where the reality hits hard. You might be paying for a child's future, but at the same time you're paying for a future that limits your own financial freedom. That's why it's crucial to treat your retirement contributions as non-negotiable, even when the budget feels tight. Think of your retirement account as a fireproof vault that you protect at all costs. If you let it shrink now, you'll be forced to work longer, or you'll have to tap into savings during a market downturn. Both scenarios that can jeopardize your long-term security. So, what can you do to break free from this trap? First, build what I call a parenting runway. This runway is a buffer of 3 to 6 months of living expenses that sits in a high-yield savings account, separate from your everyday checking. It ensures that any unexpected cost, a sudden increase in daycare fees, or a medical emergency, doesn't force you to dip into retirement savings. Second, automate your retirement contributions. Set them up before you see your paycheck, so you never have the temptation to skip a month. Third, evaluate major lifestyle upgrades not just by their dollar price tag, but by the hours of freedom they cost you. Ask yourself, Will this larger house give me 2 extra hours a week? Or will it just add $1,000 in mortgage and a longer commute? The answer often reveals the true hidden price. If you're finding this valuable, hit that subscribe button and let's keep exploring together. Now, let's dive deeper into the wage penalty and how compounding works against you when you're stuck in the fixed cost loop. Imagine you could invest an extra $500 a month at an average return of 7%. Over 20 years, that small amount would grow to roughly $300,000, a number that could fund a comfortable retirement or a dream home. But if you're paying an extra $2,000 a month for childcare, that same $500 never gets invested, and you lose that compounding benefit entirely. That's the silent erosion of wealth that many parents don't even notice. Understanding the math is one thing, but feeling the impact is another. Think about the moment you realize you can't take that spontaneous weekend trip because the daycare bill just arrived, or the time you stay late at work because the only flexible schedule you have is tied to your child's school hours. Those moments add up, and they shape the narrative of your financial life. By recognizing them, you can start to reclaim control. We'll pick this up in the next segment, where I'll walk you through a step-by-step plan to create that parenting runway, protect your retirement, and measure every major decision in terms of time freedom. Stay with me, and you'll see how to raise kids without sacrificing the future you've worked so hard to build. What do you think about these hidden costs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear your perspective. Now let's move from awareness to action. I'm going to walk you through a clear, step-by-step plan that you can start implementing tonight. Think of it as a blueprint for a parenting runway that keeps your future flights of financial freedom from stalling. First, lock down your core safety net. That means a fully funded emergency fund that can cover at least 6 months of household expenses, including the extra childcare line items you know will pop up. The rule of thumb is to keep this money in a high-yield savings account or a short-term money market vehicle so it's liquid, but also earning a little more than a traditional checking account. If you're currently sitting on a modest balance, set a weekly automatic transfer of a comfortable amount, maybe $100 or whatever feels sustainable. The key is consistency. Over time, those small deposits compound into a cushion that prevents you from dipping into retirement accounts when a surprise daycare invoice lands on your doorstep. Second, protect your retirement contributions like a non-negotiable bill. When you get your paycheck, the moment it lands, route the predetermined retirement portion straight into your employer match for a 1K or your personal Roth IRA. By automating this step, you remove the temptation to reallocate those dollars to other expenses. Remember, the power of compounding works best the earlier you start, and even a modest contribution of $500 a month, growing at an average return of 7%, can snowball into $300,000 by the time you hit retirement age. If you're forced to cut that contribution because of childcare costs, you're essentially paying a hidden tax on your future wealth. Third, evaluate every major lifestyle upgrade through the lens of hours of freedom rather than just dollars. Ask yourself, will moving to a larger home give me 2 extra hours of peace each week, or will it simply add $1,000 in mortgage and a longer commute that eats away at my evenings? Write down the estimated time you'd gain or lose, and then assign a monetary value to those hours based on your ideal hourly rate. If the upgrade costs more in time than it saves in money, it's probably not worth it. This simple mental model helps you keep the invisible cost of time front and center, preventing the subtle creep of lifestyle inflation that often accompanies parenthood. Fourth, be strategic about childcare. The market for daycare and after-school programs is notoriously pricey, and many families end up paying a premium for convenience without exploring alternatives. Start by mapping out all the options in your area: family-run daycare, co-op arrangements with trusted friends, employer-sponsored childcare vouchers, or even flexible work schedules that let you split shifts with a partner. Compare the total cost, not just the headline price, but also the hidden costs, travel time, lost productivity, and the emotional toll of juggling multiple schedules. Often a modest reduction in childcare expense can free up a few $100s a month, which you can then redirect toward investments or debt repayment. Fifth, negotiate flexibility at work before you need it. Many employers are more open to flexible arrangements than they let on, especially when you present a well-structured proposal that shows how your productivity will remain high, or even improve with a hybrid schedule. Highlight the concrete benefits: reduced commute time, higher morale, and lower turnover risk. When you secure a flexible work arrangement, you gain the ability to adjust your hours around school UPS, medical appointments, and unexpected events without sacrificing income. This flexibility acts as a buffer against the fixed cost trap, giving you more control over both time and money. Sixth, keep a running cost of freedom ledger. Every month, log the dollars you spend on items that directly impact your autonomy. Extra childcare hours, premium commuting costs, or last-minute travel cancellations. At the end of each quarter, review the ledger and ask, did these expenses enhance my freedom, or did they simply add to my obligations? This habit forces you to confront the true price of each decision, and over time you'll start to make choices that align with your long-term goals rather than short-term convenience. Seventh, plan for the transition out of the high-cost phase. Children gradually become less financially demanding as they age, but the habits you form early on can stick around for decades. Set a clear timeline for when you intend to scale back certain expenses, perhaps when your youngest starts high school, or when you've paid off a major loan. Use that milestone as a trigger to reevaluate your budget, increase retirement contributions, and reinvest the money you previously allocated to childcare. By having a predefined exit strategy, you avoid the inertia that often keeps families locked into inflated spending patterns. Finally, cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. It's easy to feel trapped when you see a mountain of expenses, but remember that every dollar you redirect toward wealth building is a step toward greater freedom for you and your family. Celebrate small wins. A month where you manage to keep your retirement contribution intact, a successful negotiation for a flexible schedule, or a DIY childcare solution that saved you a few $100s. These victories compound just like financial returns, reinforcing the belief that you can shape your financial destiny even while raising kids. Let's recap the core pillars of the parenting runway we've built together. First, a solid emergency fund that shields you from unexpected shocks. Second, automated retirement contributions that never get sidetracked. Third, a decision-making framework that measures every major purchase in hours of freedom. Fourth, strategic childcare choices that minimize hidden costs. Fifth, proactive workplace flexibility that adds a layer of control. Sixth, a regular audit of your freedom cost ledger to keep you honest. Seventh, a clear plan for scaling back as your children grow. And finally, an abundance mindset that keeps you motivated and focused on the long-term picture. By implementing these steps, you're not just surviving the financial demands of parenthood, you're actively designing a path that keeps your future goals alive. You'll still be able to provide love, security, and opportunity for your children, while also preserving the retirement lifestyle you've dreamed of. It's a delicate balance, but with the right habits and a clear runway, it's absolutely achievable. If any of these ideas resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm that this content is helping you. And if you're hungry for more deep dive strategies on navigating money and family, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a future episode. I'm committed to bringing you practical, no-fluff advice that empowers you to take control of your financial story. Now I'd love to hear from you again. Which of these steps are you going to try first? Are there any hidden costs you've discovered that we didn't cover? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep the conversation going. Your experiences not only help me tailor future content, but they also create a community where we all learn from each other's successes and challenges. Thanks for staying with me through this deep dive into the real price of raising kids. Remember, the numbers on a headline are just the starting point. The true cost lives in the choices you make every day. Choose wisely, stay intentional, and keep building that runway toward financial freedom. Until next time, keep thriving and keep raising not just kids, but the future you deserve.